Let's learn how to easily make a layered decal. Hey guys, today's tutorial was a requested tutorial. We're going to learn how to easily layer multicolor decal using registration boxes. The supplies we will need are your cutting machine, cutting mat, design or designs you want to use, 2 colors of vinyl at minimum, transfer tape or contact paper, scissors, and your weeding tool. Now the technique that we are going to be doing today applies as well if you're using 2 colors, 3 colors, 4, so on and so forth. The design we're going to do today is a heart, and we're going to have the word love in the middle. We're going to go over to the text tool, and I'm using the Amarillo font. It is a free font on default.com. It is free for personal use, and if you decide to use it for commercial use, please contact the font designer to get more information on that. I will leave the link to the download for the font in the description box below. Now, what I'm going to do before I start typing out the word love, I'm going to make sure that I have a black fill so that the letters appear, or so that you can see them. So I'm going to type out love, and now I'm going to make it bigger. And what I want is the L and the E to sort of hang off of the heart just a little bit. And let's see. Okay, that looks good. Now, with a scripted font, several times you will find that some of the letters overlap other letters, and you will see your cut lines on it. If you do not weld this, you will end up with these cut pieces, and it will mess up your design. So with the font selected, we're going to right click, and we're going to choose weld. And now you see that those cut lines are completely gone. Now, because the L was not connected to any other letter, it is considered into 2 different layers. With both layers selected for the font, we want to right click and choose group. So now it is 1. Now what I want to do is I want to add a small offset. I'm going to choose the offset window, click on offset, and I just want to do a small offset. So we're going to do 0.009, click enter or apply, and it really doesn't look like much right now. However, when you zoom in, you can see that there's just a tiny offset. So now what we're going to do, you will see 2 boxes selected again. This is not your actual letters. This is your offset that is selected and has the 2 boxes. Now what we want to do is we'll hold down the shift and click on our heart image. Now we're going to go to the modify window and we're going to click subtract. Okay, now if we move the letters out of the way, you will see the offset. Now you will see there's some pieces that are off that are not connected, so we need to group this whole design. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select every single piece of the heart, right click and choose group. Then I'm going to move my font back into my wording back into my heart. And you can play around how you want it to look with your offset. And as you can see, I have it just off just a little. What looks like the white is actually the gray from the matte that you see, so it leaves just a tiny offset, and I think it's really cute. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select everything, and I'm going to size it for cutting. Now I'm going to move it towards the top left corner, but not all the way to the top. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over to the left-hand side and choose draw rectangle. I'm going to hold down the left mouse button and the shift key, and I'm going to draw a box. It's okay if there's no color, and it's okay if it has color in it, because we're going to change it. Okay, so now we're going to select the box that we just drew, choose duplicate, and move it over. And you don't have to make them even. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go to the align tool, and we're going to choose align middle. This lines them up evenly. And now we're going to right click and choose group. So now they're grouped together. Now with the boxes selected, I want to go through and change the color to any color other than black or red. So we're going to do, let's just say blue. And I'll show you why in a minute. Now what I want to do, what I normally do with all of my designs, is I draw a box around it. And as you can see, my box is filled with color, and I need to go and change that. Okay. So now you see my square around my design. This helps with weeding, in my opinion, and you have less waste. Now with the square selected, we're going to go ahead and go to cut settings. Now, only for the square that we just drew, we're going to choose cut edge. Okay. Now we're going to make sure that the square is set to cut edge. This is only going to cut the edge of the square out. Now we want to go to advanced and we want to go to fill color. You'll see where it says cut order, layer, line color, or fill color. Okay. Now over on the right hand side of the layers, you'll see it'll say material, and this says, for some reason, it says cardstock. Of course, we're not doing cardstock. I'm just going to choose vinyl. It doesn't matter. It says Silhouette brand. I'm using Oracle 651. So we're just using vinyl. Okay. So the first thing I want to cut is I'm going to want to cut the red. So I'm going to uncheck the black. So the black's not going to cut. I'm going to leave the blue because the registration marks are blue. So in the pattern, I mean, there's not really a pattern. So it doesn't matter if it's checked or not. So I know I'm going to cut the blue registration marks, and I know I'm going to cut the red heart first. And then when I get done with that, I will unselect the red. I will come back. I will select the black, still leaving the blue checked because it's going to make registration marks in the black because that's the color vinyl you're using, and it will only cut the word love. Now, my cut settings, I have a user-defined setting that I use. The blade cut on 0 on the ratchet blade. Yes, 0 does cut. The speed I use is 4, and the thickness I use is 6. I do not double cut, but I do the line segment overcut. Move the arrows up 1, and then we'll send a silhouette.
So now that we got our designs cut out and weeded, I lay them on the mat for stability. Now what we're going to do, because the black goes on top of the red, we're going to add the transfer tape to the black. So as I've told you before, I just use contact paper for personal items. So I'm going to get the contact paper onto my black design, and what I always do is I start with the middle. So I kind of fold it up, and I start with the middle, and then we're going to go from the middle to the bottom, and then from the middle to the top. And we want to make sure that you are grabbing those registration marks right here, because our registration marks are going to line up exactly with the red registration marks. Okay. So we need to make sure that this is burnished extremely well. And then we're going to take it up. So now we have the red heart with the red registration marks. Now what you want to do, and I'm going to turn this, and I apologize if you can't see it well, is I'm going to fold back to the registration marks. I don't want to put the love part down yet. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to line up the black squares on top of the red squares. And when you line them up, you do not see the red squares. Okay? Now you can slowly lay down your design and then burnish it. And the registration marks help to assure that you get a proper placement for the design that you made on in your Silhouette Studio. And all I'm doing is just trimming everything up a little bit. And there you go. You have your layered decal. Well, I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial and you learned how to do an easy layer. And if you have any comments, questions, or suggestions on tutorials you'd like to see, please feel free to leave those in the comment section below. And again, the download link for the Amarillo font that I used here is in the description box below as well. And we'll see you again soon.
Let's learn how to do the knockout method in Silhouette Studio today.